Hello and welcome to another Star Wars: The Old Republic video stream, whatever. I am unreasonably upset about what they've done with the tooltips, so there is that. What is going on here? It's not the item I bought. I'm sure it gives me the stats I need, right? Yeah, it's just a tooltip bug. Look at some of the UI changes, some of the other changes to patch 7.2. And I want to say right away, there is new story. There is a new planet with a daily area to go to, so you can explore more stuff. We're seeing more progression in the storyline with the Mandalorian arc there. So definitely there is that stuff. That's not the purpose of this video or this stream. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the other updates. Without further ado, let's log back into our character and let's take a look at some of the things that I figured out about the new UI changes and some things that you may or may not want to change back. As a lot of people are very conflicted on the new map stuff, there's a small number of people who are very, very upset. And then there's a bunch of people who are actually reasonably happy, like myself, about it. You'll notice in the top left there, I've customized this utility bar. I actually really like this. This is something that I was surprised how much I liked it, even though it's a little bit jarring that they've changed the UI a little bit. I love the customization. Like you can see I've totally rearranged it. So I've got things in an order that I like. You know, I put my instance PvP or PvE as well as the server strength right there. And then I've got the clock up there. Great. I love this. The utility bar down here and the minimap, that has been changed. That's new. I'm not in love with that. I don't like the way that this utility bar is detached from this little minimap, and it just makes it look so weird, this floating around minimap. But they have added this overlay map, which is super cool. So I've customized this utility bar a little bit down here so that I can choose how I want things to show up. So yeah, this is kind of, I love the new overlay map. I love the fact that we actually have, it gives me like a flashing beacon on my character there as I'm moving around, so it's easier to tell where I am. And you can set it so that it can scroll with you. So there's lots of little settings to tweak and change depending how you want it. I liked enabling the fact that it scrolls around with me. That was important to me. And I also enjoyed putting on the little ping beacon so that when I move around, I can easily see where I am. You know, I can easily get some filters here. I think that's a great update. I love it, but I don't like the fact that this circle here now looks very plain and ugly. This actual map changed it though. They've moved stuff around. I really find it a little bit jarring, a little weird how it just looks different, right? I'm just like, it just looks different. But the one thing that is really nice is they've added a button for magnify cursor. You no longer have to go into the settings to find that. The traditional map we have, I don't know why the hell they changed the hotkey for this one to make the hotkey for the other one, other than they probably want players to find out about this new feature by pressing M for their map, being super confused and being like, when did this change, right? So what do we want to do if we want to change some of these? So open up our interface editor. We can go to the mini map. But here's the map style. Maximal is the old school style. The buttons are around the edge of the map, basically our old map. The utility bar, you know, can sit on top of it, whatever. And then you can see it all disappears when you bring up the other map, right? So yeah, that's what you can do. You can get back to that if you want fairly easily. And then the other thing that you can do is if we go into our preferences here. Oh, I see. It's under interface here, probably is what it is. Yeah. So you go under key bindings and then interface. Toggle world map pane. Alt M is the new hotkey that used to be just M, and then map overlay is M. But that's how you change that hotkey there. And then if you want your map to look more like the old one, you can get rid of the utility bar too by disabling that, changing the map to the maximal style. So another interesting thing, I just researched this and found out, is if you bring back the traditional map and you disable this utility bar 2, you'll lose exit area, because exit area is now attached to utility bar 2. A very weird oversight on their part. So if we go in here, utility bar 2, and we turn it off, and we close that, you can see I now don't have an exit area button for this area at all. Pressing escape, you don't get it there. So that's a very big blunder, I think. I could take off everything. I could go and look through all these lists, slots, whatever, and I can make them empty. So this is here just for the purpose of having the exit area. That is one option. You can do that, right? It's just unfortunate either way. Yeah. What I've got here though that pisses me off to no end is the new tooltips. So they've changed our tooltips. If you look at the bottom right corner of the screen over there, you can see this tooltip pop up, and I've made it as transparent as I can while still being able to read the mother effer, because I am so frustrated with it. I don't like it. It's so jarring and so ugly. So yeah, if we tweak our alpha back up to 100% instead of leaving it down at 75%, you can see how jarring and ugly that is. They've also made it so that this tooltip can appear where your mouse cursor is if you want. Sounds fun, sounds great. It's good if you're a newer player learning the game, but it totally covers the center area where your character is, and it makes it really hard to actually see what you're doing. The other thing that we've got that's brand new-ish, that's really cool, is the deconstruct window now has a destroy window. So anything that can't get deconstructed that you right click will go in the destroy window, and anything that can be deconstructed will go into the deconstruct window instead. They've also fixed our Control G hotkey for the activities window. I still have the button here. I've gotten so used to pushing the button at this point that who knows if I'll start using the hotkey again. Whatever. It's not the end of the world. Okay, a couple other things that you might want to note that can be pretty important for some players, especially if you don't have a lot of Christmas and holiday plans. If you do have a lot of Christmas and holiday plans, fuck the game, spend some time with family, especially if you like them, and, you know, be more concerned about that. They are going to have a double XP for a single week. It's going to be December 20th to 27th, so again, right over that Christmas break. Also, there is going to be a collection sale unlock. Do I remember the date on it? No, I don't remember exactly. So just keep your eyes out for the collection sales unlock. So I mentioned at the beginning that there is new story content to play. Also, there is Life Day events. So as you might notice, the decorations on Fleet are absolutely on fire this year. There are so many colorful, pretty decorations everywhere for Life Day event. So Wookiee hugging, the best thing to do is when you have them selected, you see the circle here, there's a little triangle. You basically just want to stand your feet on that triangle. If you have the ability to turn off run so that you walk in like RP walk, and then you just put yourself, seeing my feet, right on that triangle there, and then you can hug the Wookiee. It's a little bit finicky. Once you get used to it, it works really well. The other area is the anniversary personnel decoration in the Stronghold and Crew Stills. So we now have the anniversary vendor is back for the 11th anniversary because the 10 years of celebration went by in a blink of an eye and I missed the party, but there's an 11th anniversary vendor here, so cool, you can go buy all this stuff. That's the only thing that's really new is the Best Views SWTOR poster contest. So there's these new views here. So it's called Art Best View of. Alright, so the other thing that we want to talk about is PvP. There have been quite a few changes regarding PvP. It's not like night and day, but it can be night and day. There is no more ranked. That is the biggest straight up change that you're going to be seeing to PvP. So if we open up and we go to the PvP window here, you're going to see there is PvP War Zones, which are your 4v4, and then there's PvP Arenas, which are your 8v8s. That's it. That's what we get now for PvP. You can still do the issue challenges, and there's still GSF, but it's just one queue. You can queue up as a team. It doesn't say team anymore, but you can still put yourself in the queue as a team, and it'll try and match you with another team, and then because the queue is usually dead, it will end up matching you with players who aren't on a team if there's no other teams in queue. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I'm not a huge fan of this, but at the same time, I think that it might bring more people into PvP. I'm not sure. I'm very worried. I personally don't think I want to be queuing up for the 4v4s without there being a rank to separate certain players from other players. The other thing here is seasons. So they've gone ahead, and because there's no more ranked seasons and no way to do the ranked rewards anymore, we now have the Galactic Season style for PvP. So there are going to be 25 tracks here that you can unlock by progressing through doing PvP. You're going to get the most amount of points for doing these different objectives that are listed here, very similar to Galactic Seasons, just it's all PvP related. There's a bunch of different rewards that you can get, and you can check them out and see if you think any of them are actually pretty enough to be worth getting. You also get these PvP Seasons tokens, which can go into the PvP Seasons vendor rewards. So I'm over at the PvP or the combat section of Fleet where the vendors are. So as you can see, the vendors just say they want PvP Seasons tokens. And then if we click on Get Out of the Hut, you can see again, there's still just PvP Seasons tokens. So you can see the different rewards that you could potentially buy here. They're very expensive to buy though, right? These are some of those rewards that people were complaining that they should remain as exclusive items from the rank seasons. That's my understanding. Not being a PvP player, I cannot confirm or deny these rumors. So in typical MMO fashion, they have basically said we're going to walk back a lot of the grindiness of being able to get your character leveled up and being able to get the best gear. So they made a few changes here. If we go to the PvP vendors, so we're going to go to the one where you can buy first your gear, you'll notice that the gear comes in at a higher item rating than before. So we start at 322 gear, which is a nice change, but there's some other interesting changes. You can now spend your PvP currencies to get tech fragments, so you finally have a sink for all those extra currencies that you're stockpiling other than the daily resource matrix. Now let's head over to the supplies section of Fleet. First stop is our Spoils of War vendor. So what has changed about the Spoil of War vendor? Well, you now buy tech fragments in bundles of 200 instead of bundles of 50. That's a really nice change. Alright, we're now in the supply section of Fleet, and they've made a few things here to make getting gear upgraded much faster and much easier. It's pretty awesome for players who haven't hit 80 yet or haven't actually really had a chance to grind out the level 80 gear, that they're making it so much easier to get into reasonably powerful gear. So item rating 324, right off the bat you can buy this. This is the vendor that lets you buy the conquest gear straight up, and also you can spend 200 conquest combinations to get tech frags here instead of going to Spoils War vendor, and really cool, you can spend your conquest combinations to buy Flashpoint 1 stabilizers. So traditionally upgrading Flashpoint gear was a huge pain. It was a huge time sink. The currency was so hard to get. It took forever to upgrade. The boxes, the guaranteed upgrade crates took forever to get. So this is really going to speed things up a lot. Interestingly enough, they've added a Flashpoint gear vendor, so now you can actually buy the Flashpoint gear at item rating 324, and you can also cash in extra Flashpoint stabilizers into tech frags. So let's head over here and let's take a look at what we've got with the operations gear vendor. It's going to be the same idea
Can I get you anything?
as we were talking about for our Flashpoint gear vendor. You can actually buy it at 324, and you can also convert your op catalysts into tech frags as well if you don't need them to upgrade gear. This is really cool that you can straight up buy into the Ricotta gear. So if you're a solo, not a solo player because you can't get operation currency otherwise, but if you're somebody who can't easily do the stuff that drops the Ricotta gear, you can do story modes and you can grind out that currency and get up that purple if you really wanted. It's going to take time. It's not going to be easy, but now it's
nice to see customers.
And the R4 hard mode gear is the only stuff that can go up to 340. PvP is going to be capped at 322, I believe, still. The important thing to note about PvP as well, just a side note, is this general item rating here is how the level system, well, hello there, is how the level system decides if your gear is too high and it needs to like cap your stats. So what a lot of players will do is they'll wear a bunch of gear that's higher than the 322 that's allowed for PvP. As long as this item rating here doesn't say 322, you're good, you get a few free extra stats. Let's head over and check out the hide and seek vendor. Alright, so this makes upgrading with the hide and seek vendors to be able to unlock your mods so much faster. I just put on the set of 324 gear that I bought off the Conquest vendor for those 100 Conquest combinations and some credits. It's allowing me to do all of these different quests. We can go all the way up to unlocking 336 gear now, as you can see, for blue and purple if you have a piece. So this is a huge, huge benefit that we can unlock this quest as soon as you make Conquest once and buy yourself a set of 324 gear. And then you only have to upgrade one item that you can deconstruct for this quest. So Prototype is our blue gear, 336 blue gear. I've got that quest. Now I can go in here and I can deconstruct my 336 item. Woohoo! And now I've got everything I need to be able to upgrade my gear. This is pretty awesome. So yeah, after a few hours of grinding, you should have enough currencies available to be able to get that item up to 336, or if you want to do 330 first, you know, I would highly suggest picking an item rating like 330 and getting there first to upgrade a bunch of your gear and make yourself more powerful, and then do the 336 if you're brand new to this. And the great thing about using the moddable gear vendor instead of the other streams of upgrading your gear is I'm not having to worry about losing my augments and my augmentation kits. We're still finding that our legendaries here are capped at 334. So now let's go test out and see if we can get our story mode tokens to upgrade our accessories past 330, which I highly doubt. And it's gone. The story mode R4 gear can only go to 330. not the end of the world. You can use this as a way to get your instant 330 piece for the deconstruction quest if you haven't unlocked any of the hide and seek tiers before this, while you're working on getting a piece of gear up to 336. So where we're going with that, so the fastest way to gear up, we'll continue on. We talked about getting all the moddable gear to 330, and then you can either buy with your story mode R4 tokens, you can either upgrade all your accessories to 330 that way, or you can farm them any of the other traditional ways of getting gear upgraded. And in the meantime, you're going to be taking one piece of gear and upgrading it to 336 for the next tier of the hide and seek quest. But the main priority is you want to get your hide and seek unlocked on a single item first at the item rating you're going for before you start upgrading all your other gear with currencies. You want to pile all your currencies first into that one piece. So as always, everybody, have a great day, enjoy the new story content that we've got, and enjoy the fact that it's way easier now to complete the gear grind, and there's so many more flexible options for getting the gear, getting it all the way up to 336, getting currencies, spending more currency sinks, stuff like that. And yeah, hope to see you guys out there, and as always, have a great day. See you in the next video. I gotta spend time upgrading all my sets to 336. And I hope you enjoy the gear calculator tool I made for you.